for UNH. We've got our vault event title to Kirsten Belkoff of Penn, 9875. Kristen Kuhn winning the event title on bars, 9875. Get a look at the Quakers, who are well represented today in the last home meets for Penn at the Palestra this year. They will go to Beam, where they have been quite good this year. Set the program record on this event at Temple just a couple meets ago, 49.475. McKaylee Marr and her sister Campbell, 2 to watch on that event.
Yeah, so pretty on this event that it is their highest ranking event as well, ranked 40th in the country. They have had some ups and downs this season, but they're a really pretty artistic team on this event. And we're really going to be this is going to be so much fun because New Hampshire is a great artistic team on floor as well, so we're going to be seeing some of those features that I really love about college gymnastics.
First, here's a look at our scores from the second rotation. Penn on bars, you see, led by that 9875 in the number 3 spot by Kristen Kuhn. Again, she wins the bar event title, just besting the trio of UNH 985 scores from the first rotation. Penn with an overall bar score of 48.675.
Yeah, and I think, solid rotation for them. As I mentioned, just some areas within there, the handstands on those full pirouette to double back connections, those can really get you. And so really difficult to hit that. And I think just a couple other areas like that they struggled.
It was a bit of a struggle for UNH on vault, too. You see how they started with 2 scores under 9.5. What did you think of how they bounced back?
Yeah, they have some really high scoring potential more towards the end of the lineup, and so good to see them get some of those, Kylie Gorgani and other gymnasts getting some of those, the better dynamics in the vaults, but they are going to an event that can be really strong for them, which is floor. Floor is a challenging event for New Hampshire because they have had some inconsistency this year, but they're capable of being really beautiful here.
Yeah, at their best, you could maybe argue that floor is their best event.
Right. Yeah. Traditionally, they've also really excelled on beam. Has been a challenge this year, but talk to Lindsay Bruckayat about how she kind of reset the tone with the team. They took their beam into one of their arenas to practice on, to do some pressure sets. They hit a 49 next week, so really going to turn that momentum. So we'll see how they do here.
Yeah, if you're looking at the overall scores, UNH is behind against Penn. Again, 97.6 for Penn, 97.35 for UNH. But the Wildcats wrap up on arguably their 2 best events. They are very artistic on floor. This is going to be a fun watch.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching them on floor, and I have to say, I think that only 3/10 of the floor score is allotted to artistry, and in my opinion, it should be higher than that. The name of the discipline is artistic gymnastics, and I think we should be. There's not a lot of teams that are committing to it like New Hampshire is, so I'm excited to see that.
So we'll see New Hampshire's artistry on floor and Penn on beam when we come back. Third rotation coming up from Philadelphia. On to the third rotation from the Palestra with Penn leading UNH. It's the Quakers with a now updated score, 97.8. So it looks like we had a slight score change, and UNH at 97.35. We'll get you where that score change came as soon as we can. But starting off with Penn on beam, one of what's been their better events this year set the program beam record against Temple just a few meets ago, and they'll lead things off with Kirsten Belkoff.
And although last time Penn competed at home, they did struggle on beam and had to count a couple falls. So this is going to be an important event for them. I really like to watch them on beam. Really pretty lines, split positions throughout this rotation. And Kirsten Belkoff, who we're going to look at here, just waiting for the judge to salute, she does a tricky combination switch leap to sheep jump. That difficult sheep jump, we're going to look for the release of the head and neck in that jump, and is rated a D element on beam. And Belkoff getting underway here. She's gearing up for this triple series. 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Super solid on that landing. Some leg separation in that sheep jump, but I love that she goes for that difficult combination. Gearing up for her 1.5 dismount here. See if she can open up for the landing. Wow, that's the college salute, folks. Arches her back really far back, but really nails that landing, and great lead off for Penn.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal way to start for the Quakers. A little move to the floor for UNH. Sierra Bauman will lead off. By the way, the score change for Penn, and after this replay on Belkoff's dismount, we'll get it to you.
Yeah, just knew where she was in the air. I would like to see her get a little bit more height off the beam, but really great air awareness.
So it looks like the only score change, Skylar Curico on vault for Penn, now a 9.75. Here's Sierra Bauman on floor.
Oh, good fight there on that 2.5. Oh gosh. Was short on that 1.5 and tricky to get that second flip around. She just didn't get the rise out that she needed to. Pretty performance though, but and the opening 2.5 was nice, though she seemed to have a bit of a misstep on the landing. So gonna be a challenge for New Hampshire, but they've got some great athletes coming up.
Do you think it was trouble finding the landing on that first pass and under rotating on the last?
So I'm not exactly sure what happened on the first. She might have been a little under rotated coming in.
Now a look at Alyssa Rosen on beam for Penn.
And another rock solid landing on that back handspring layout step out. Hangs on to that punch front, so difficult. That's an E-rated skill. And this jump is really difficult. That straddle half manages it well. Really tricky, those jumps that start facing sideways on the beam.
So finish off with the full tuck.
Little hop on landing, but really clean throughout that set.
So Gracie Mowers will be next on floor for UNH. Here's another look at the way Alyssa Rosen closed out beam. Well, this is fun. Gracie Mowers, whose mom was a UNH gymnast, helped her choreograph her routine last year and doing it again this year with a little assist from Kennedy Brown, her teammate helping with the choreo as well.
Yeah, really fun. I love when athletes get involved. There's several college athletes in the country that are involved in their own choreography, and that's always fun to see. Looks like we might have a judges conference here on floor.
Meanwhile, we do have a score in for Kirsten Belkoff, 9.825 in the leadoff for Penn on beam. Curious as to what this could be about from that first performance by Sierra Bauman, where there was not a fall on either the first pass or the last pass, but a little bit of a stumble.
She would have gotten that counted as a fall. I think coming out, I think probably what they're debating is, did she get that front tuck around? That's the challenge, is when an athlete doesn't fully put it to their feet, but gets it around and then kind of sits it down like she did. That's what I would guess the issue is about. You see one judge with a 9.3 start value, another judge with a 9.7 start value. Those scores shouldn't be that far apart. I mean, hopefully they will drop that score anyway, but they do have to calculate it, obviously, because you don't know what else is going to happen in the lineup.
Yeah, materially it may not affect much of anything, but it's going to be an 8-5 for Bauman in leadoff. And now here's Gracie Mowers with that routine choreographed by her mom.
Just a little shy of rotation on that double pike, but covers it nicely.
She'll go punch front, layout, front full.
Nice control there. Secure in the landing of that double back. And this is what I mean about artistry. That is what artistry is. Artistry is not just smiling on floor. Artistry is not pose, pose, pose. Artistry is the connection that you have with the music, the way that you express yourself. Everybody in this arena couldn't take their eyes off her, and I love that performance.
Such a wonderful display of dancing combined with gymnastics. A lot of music switches there.
Yeah.
She's a really fun dancer. Last year, her routine started with the chicken dance.
Yeah,
there
right.
are a lot more music switches today as well. This is a lot of fun. Here is Kristen Kuhn on beam for Penn.
And starts off with that tricky wolf turn. Gets that around, no problem. And was patient on that layout step out because her hips were a little bit off, but she's experienced. She is a great beam worker, so just corrected it. Love to see that. And pretty positions in that switch leap straddle half. She is on. Love this show of flexibility. One of those athletes doing the back handspring gainer full. Great set besides the back handspring layout step out, she had a little correction, but just so confident and crisp through that beam routine.
Now, her career high on this is 9.85. That was a really clean routine. Does she challenge to break that here?
Yeah, I think we're going to see something about that. I will say the judges have a better angle on the split positions than I do. So that's always something that could be more, but I think that that's going to be in that range.
Robin Kelly on floor. One of the best on this event for UNH. Career high 9.925.
And does well to hold on, not go out of bounds on that double pike. Nice high 1.5.
Last pass, round off, back handspring, double pike.
Double tuck, but really nicely controlled there. The double pike she did at the beginning had that bounding step back, but she did so well to keep that in bounds and really kept that in. But the double back there, really nice. Just so difficult to end with those double saltos.
So that'll bring up Alicia Werlin on beam for Penn in the number 4 spot. 3 scores in for the Quakers thus far. Belkoff and Kuhn both with 9.825s. And Alyssa Rosen with a 9.75. Here's Werlin.
Clean in that aerial. Shy on that second split element, that split jump half. Gearing up for her series here. Back handspring layout, step out. We're seeing some, and oh, just little hesitation on landing. But nice series overall in this Penn lineup. Hangs on to that stick. Really nice work.
Penn is setting up with the start of this third rotation in a very similar spot to when they set that program record on beam. It's gonna depend on the way they close it with the Mars sisters.
And you know, they are, as you said, these scores are, you know, building in these 9-8 ranges, and the back end of this Penn lineup very capable of breaking into the 9-9 range on beam.
Kennedy Brown on floor for UNH.
And I just absolutely love to watch her on floor. Wow. Stuck cold, that 1.5 to front full.
You can tell who on the team has the dance background.
Yeah.
She does help her teammates with their choreography as well.
Really clean 1.5 there. Oh my gosh, I love it. And that 1.5 to front full, you are allowed to take a controlled lunge out of the passes without deduction, but when you stick it cold, it's just like an extra little flex. Just like, I don't even need that. I don't need this step. I could just stick it cold. It's amazing. And shout out to Amanda Fillard, who is the assistant coach at New Hampshire, former gymnast at NC State, and does their choreography on floor.
So this will set up the part of the beam lineup for Penn that is crucial. The Marr sisters, Campbell first, and then McKaylee to wrap it up. Campbell, a junior, she and McKaylee on the day when Penn set the new program record, they hit back-to-back 9.95s.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to share the school record with your sister. And they have very similar styles on beam. So crisp and nice toe point maintained throughout that layout step out. Look at the stretch in that switch split to straddle quarter. Just correct that. It's that seamless correction, though. Even when she's a little bit off, you can expect them to be perfect all the time, but just really works to correct that. Oh gosh, now I jinxed her. The full turn, that'll get you.
Only an A skill, but it is so tough. And
one that a lot of college gymnasts will tell you is challenging. Sticks that landing. You know, just had that correction on the full turn, unfortunately, in the aerial. So have seen her, not going to get in that 9.9 range, but, great fight throughout that routine.
But where Penn is looking right now, 3 of their 4 scores are 9.8 or better. Alicia Werlin with a 9.8. Now Kylie Gorgani in the 5 spot on floor for New Hampshire. She's coming off a career high Sunday, 9.875.
Drills that double pike.
That is such a satisfying landing.
And I'm a sucker for a dramatic floor routine, so I love this.
There's a good mix of drama and bounce in these routines.
Didn't quite get that full around. Gorgeous work. Best controlled tumbling we've seen yet. Every single tumbling pass just drilled. What you want to look for on floor to, again, distinguish the good from the great is having, if you're tumbling backward, you have your foot anchored and you take a step back. You're tumbling forward, you have it anchored, you take a step forward. And to really make sure that that anchored foot does not move. No sliding. And she did a really great job of that, as well as her chest position on landing being really upright.
So that will bring up McKaylee Marr. She is going to anchor on beam for Penn. As we mentioned, not only does she share the program record with her sister Campbell, 9.95, McKaylee has 3 of Penn's top 5 all-time beam scores. when she hit her first 9.95 last year. It was the first such score for a Quaker gymnast in over 20 years.
And she is using her extra year of eligibility to do a master's degree at the University of Michigan, and talked to the coaching staff. The Ivy League does not allow you to take that COVID year, so they really encouraged her to go into the portal, see her options, and I really think it says a lot about the state of Penn gymnastics that she's moving to Michigan, one of the powerhouses in college gymnastics right now. And they could really use this beam routine in their lineup this season. Pretty extension through that handspring layout step out. Oh gosh. The hitch kick, I would have to see it on a replay. I don't know if her hips got off in the hitch kick or in the air on her aerial, but it was pretty far off when she landed, and once your hips aren't square on the beam, so hard to save.
Well, the good news for Penn is that despite a rare fall from McKaylee Marr, the rest of their scores in this rotation look quite good. 3 above 9.8.
Yeah. Yeah, solid rotation for them despite that fall. Recovers well, sticks that landing. She's not going to be happy with that one, but, you know, just it happens. It happens to the best of them. You know, I always say it's just a fall. It's, you know, nothing that is, she's hit a billion beautiful beam routines. So, you know, this is her dismount, just absolute great air awareness on that. But yeah, that is a score that Penn will drop.
Now Alyssa Bollier in the anchor spot for UNH on floor. Again, she is the only all-arounder competing today for either team. This first pass closes with a double tuck. Lindsey Bruck-Ayat could not say enough good things about this.
And that's a little lack of control in that lunge that I was talking about earlier, but nice height. Good control in that front layout, front full. Just a little low chest position on that Rudy, but recovers or minimizes the deduction out of it, and really pretty routine.
So Penn is going to exhibition Isabella Garrett on beam. Their beam score 48.9.
Yeah, so still a very solid beam score. You know, could have picked up a 10th, but as you mentioned, when the rest of the lineup hits, you know, the differential's only, you know, a tenth and a half maximum.
So here's Isabella Garrett.
This is cool. This handstand step down to layout, step out, layout, step out. Any old school gym nerds that remember Morgan Lane used to do a similar mount for North Carolina. Just short on that first split element. And cool just to see that cartwheel in there. Nice dismount. A couple of, errors in split position and details like that, but I love her mount.
And overall, I mean, between the mount and the cartwheel, some different things you're not used to seeing so much on beam.
And that's my favorite. I really like to see variety.
Alyssa Worthington is now going to exhibition for UNH on floor.
And she's really best known for her beam work, but shows some of those similar pretty lines here as well. Great control. A little bit of form issues in that last pass, but one of those other really pretty artistic routines for New Hampshire.
And for New Hampshire as a team, by the way, after what was a tough second rotation for them, what they've done on floor, combined with some stumbles by Penn on beam, UNH has gotten to within a 10th heading into the fourth rotation.
Yeah, really, really strong performance from them overall in floor, especially after that adversity in the leadoff spot.
Now Sarah Kenefick to exhibition on beam for Penn.
Nice clean series. Good to see that after that initial wobble. Nice dismount. Just, that wobble on the full turn. It's out to get him tonight. I fell on a full turn a lot of times, so I know how hard it is. But, fought through that routine.
So one more exhibition on floor for UNH, and this was a late addition to the exhibitions. First, here's another look at, looks like McKaylee Marr's dismount. She gets a 9.05. Riley Himes, a late addition as the second exhibition on floor for UNH.
Really clean double back there to end. Really good to see New Hampshire getting through that rotation, you know, after that fall in the leadoff spot, coming back so strong and showing the depth they have.
Sierra Bauman had the fall in the leadoff spot, but they do get a couple of 9/8 toward the end of that lineup, and they pull within a tenth of Penn heading into the fourth and final rotation. It will be the Quakers on floor, UNH to close on beam when we come back from Philadelphia. The narrow edge over UNH heading into the fourth and final rotation. The Quakers on beam with a 48-9 despite a fall in the anchor spot. They get a score of 9.825 from Kirsten Belkoff to lead the pack. She's already won the vault event title with a 9.875. And UNH, despite a fall in their leadoff spot, fighting for a 48.725 to keep this meet very close, razor thin, heading to the fourth and final rotation. The Quakers will head to floor with an overall score so far of 146.7, and UNH heading to beam with a 146.075. Both teams really battling through that third rotation. Neither had to count a fall, but both with a fall at one point in their lineup. And fighting back for a respectable third rotation as we get ready to wrap it up. Penn heading to floor. And again, UNH to beam. I'm Major Lufglass alongside Christina Chauvenet from